He's got to go. He's got to go. Ruben Sayers, he's got to be given his march order tonight. It's over for him.
Allez, allez, allez. Allez, allez, allez. Allez, allez, allez.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Sheff United way for another match reaction that I'm very, very excited to bring to you. Sheffield United's just once again lost a game of football. But don't worry, because this time we had a shot on target. Way! 5-0. 5-0 against Ipswich Town. Now, nothing on Ipswich, nothing against Ipswich, because Ipswich were fantastic. Ipswich have got fantastic players. They've not won a game of football this season, but they were bound to win one at some point with the amount of incredible attacking talent on show. And do you know what? Ollie said to me, we might get hammered in this game. And I said to him, there's absolutely no way we get hammered in this game because we've brought in so much defensive solidity, I think I said. Defensive solidity. Now, I'm not really blaming the defense today, or most of the defense I'm not blaming. There's one player in particular, and I think that it's pretty obvious who I'm going to be aiming some of the blame at. Ben Godfrey, by the way, if you weren't sure, if you weren't 100% sure who I was going to say, it's Ben Godfrey. Of course it is. And I've spoken about Ben Godfrey before on this channel. I think it was the Borough game when I spoke about Ben Godfrey because we should have conceded a lot more goals from his side in that game. But, you know, Borough weren't quite as good as Ipswich. We certainly got took apart this evening, but it was just embarrassing. That first half wasn't too bad. We went in 1-0 down, which, you know, I don't actually think that Ipswich were brilliant in the first half. I think they kind of let us dictate the play at times and kind of not exactly played on the break, but they certainly tried to counter attack us when we lost the ball, which was a lot. Um, really, really simple in the second half, was it? They just picked us off time and time and time again. But you know, in that first half, they weren't that good. They obviously scored the goal, which you know they probably deserve. They probably deserve to be, you know, going in at half time 1-0 up. Obviously, it was 𝗲𝗍𝗍 curling it into the corner after Matos had tried his very very best to stop the ball being spread from one side of the pitch to the other. Really really unfortunate from the lad, but you know it broke to them, and I shouted to my missus straight away. Watch, I bet this goes in. And honestly, I'm being serious. I said straight away, I bet this goes in. And the reason for that was because it's just so Sheffield United right now, isn't it? Whether, you know, you've not bought into Sayers, which is obvious. Like no one really has. There's nothing that you can buy into with Ruben Sayers right now, is there? Let's be honest. And you know, he's probably going to get sacked tonight. I say probably. He's definitely going to get sacked tonight. I can't believe they let him have 2 weeks to you know play to train with these players to try and find a way when we were singing "Sacked in the Morning" to our own manager. I don't think I've ever heard that happen before or seen that happen before. But that's what we were singing at Borough. Not me personally, I didn't go, but that's what we were singing at Borough. I don't know how he managed to keep his job until the next game because clearly he'd lost the crowd. It seems like he'd lost the players as well. And tonight, turning up to the game with Gus Harmer and Tyrese Campbell both on the bench, and he's replaced them with, well, I guess Matos really, but I'm not, you know, going to lay any blame at Matos's door because I thought he played okay, especially in the first half. And Cannon. Actually, I'm more bothered about the fact that we've played two ineffectual wingers week in, week out, practically. Andre Brooks and Louis Barry. However much I love them both, I really like Louis Barry, and I was really excited when we signed him. Andre Brooks, I love too. I think he's a wonderful, wonderful footballer. Really good technique, really exciting player, but he's been terrible this season. I'm not sure if he's done one like good thing this season. I'm going to say positive thing, but he's probably played some nice passes. He's probably got back and helped defending and stuff, but he's done nothing in the final third all season. And the reason why him and 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 keep getting picked week in, week out is because we don't have any other wingers to replace them. We're playing Cannon and Ryan One on the wings in pre-season. Why are we not going out there to buy out and out wingers? We've got 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏, who's played most of his recent career at right wing back. We've also brought in Chong, who is a attacking midfielder more than a winger. So we've brought in two players maybe to play as wingers. I don't think that Chong would actually play as a winger. 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏 will have to if we're going to carry on playing wingers. We don't have anyone else. Like, this is getting ridiculous. Like, the window slams shut and we don't seem to be able to create anything. We cannot keep playing wingers when we've got two wingers that can't wing. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 looks like neither way, right. Okay. Let me just start by saying Darnell Furlong, big lad playing at right back. That works because he is mobile. He never let 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 get past him once. We've got Ben Godfrey, who is not mobile in the slightest. I think it was Silvera, you know, uh, just turned him inside out time after time for Borough. And then 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏 scored a hat-trick tonight, all of which, and not just that, Jack Clark, when he came on, that was a shocker of a goal to concede. And, Ben Godfrey, he's literally ball watching until it lands on Jack Clark's chest. And then he's like, oh, maybe I should try and defend now. And he doesn't even try and, like, do you know what? I would let him off if he brought him down for a penalty. I wouldn't let him off. But I'd rather see that than him kind of grab him a little bit, let him go and just be like, yeah, go and score. Yeah, Ben Godfrey had a shocker to that. This video is probably going to be all over the place. I'll start by saying that because things keep popping into my mind and I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going and going and going. So obviously, we've conceded 5 goals tonight. 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 3. 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 scoring is, a shocker for many reasons. One, because he used to play for Wednesday. I don't think there's any love lost between Wednesday and 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. He was obviously David Hirst's son, which adds to it. But it's a goal that never, ever, ever should have seen the light of day because he almost just kind of swings his foot at it like he's trying to cross it, but towards the goal. And Cooper, I don't know what he's doing. I really don't know what Cooper's doing. Michael Cooper was one of, if not the best goalkeeper in the Championship last season. I think he was second to James Trafford. But this season, Michael Cooper has not shown that form in the slightest, and that's a shocker. It almost looked like every time they went forward tonight, they were going to score in that second half. And yes, defending wasn't great. Yes, the midfielders tracking back weren't great. And yes, they had all the momentum, scoring goal after goal after goal. But Michael Cooper just looked like he was going to crumble every time one of their attackers got near our goal. Let's just talk about their attackers for a second. Like I said, this is going to be all over the place, this video. So 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 got 4. 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 didn't get 4. No, he didn't get 4. It says on Flash Score that 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 got 4, but he didn't. It was Jack Clark who got. It's saying 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 got 4, 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 scored, and Jack Clark scored, and they scored 5 goals. That doesn't maths, does it? That doesn't maths. So they've got 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 on the left, who obviously didn't score 4, but he scored 3 tonight. Very, very good game from him. But as much as I don't think 𝗍𝗫𝗍𝗍 is the greatest right back in the league, there's absolutely no way that 𝗍𝗫𝗍𝗍 would have let him score 3 goals tonight. Then they've got 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, who is a decent striker. He is a good striker. He's not one of the best in the league, but he's a good striker. Then they've got 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗹, who's caused us no end of problems in the past, and I thought he played quite well tonight, even though his rating suggests not as much. He's got a 6.2, which I'm surprised at, but it wasn't great. But he was involved in some of their attacks. Then they've got 𝗍𝗏𝗃 on the right, which obviously I didn't see much from 𝗍𝗏𝗃 tonight. I think he had one shot that Cooper saved well. But obviously he got brought off. So that's their front four, if you like. Then you've got Núñez coming off the bench, who obviously did cross the Norwich-Ipswich divide, which is a big thing. Then you've got Sammy Szmodics on the bench, who was the Championship top goal scorer just a few years ago, or a couple of years ago, shall we say. Then they've got Egeli. I think he is a striker as well, if I'm right in saying that. Then they've got Jack Clark also coming off the bench. They've got anyone else on the bench that I've missed? But that is Szmodics 1, Núñez 2. I'm not saying Núñez is an out-and-out attacker, but Núñez, the Norwegian that everyone's banging on about, I think he's the lad that they paid a lot of money for. Jack Clark, that's 4. Hirst, Philogene, Akpom, 𝗍𝗏𝗃. That's 8 really creative attacking players that they've got, in abundance. And yes, they've just come down from the Premier League, but we're still in our second year of parachute payments. We can afford some of these sorts of players. Right, let's now have a look at Sheffield United's attack. So we started with Cannon up front. Then we've got Louis Barrett and Brooks that were completely and utterly blunt. Then we've got O'Hare, who's not for me really an out-and-out attacker that's going to run at you, cause you problems, score goals, and set up goals for fun. Then we've got Gus Harmer on the bench, who never should have been on the bench. Tyrese Campbell on the bench, who never should have been on the bench. Then, who else have we got left? We've got 𝗤𝗏 Chong, who we're not seeing much of, but he's not in that bracket of all those Ipswich players. Then we've got Danny Ings, who I all I can assume is that he's injured. We've got 𝗤𝗏𝗃 to come back into this. That's it. And the only 2 players that we have that I think are as good as all those 8 attackers that Ipswich have got are O'Hare and Campbell. Don't get me wrong. I think Harmer and Campbell. That's it. We've got 2 to their 8. And don't get me wrong, Ipswich have not won a game all season. It was going to happen, as I mentioned earlier. But our team should be as good as theirs, or not far off as good as theirs. And we've just decided to bring 30,000 centre-backs in, and we've still let 5 goals in tonight. Now, that should have been a 5 at the back. That should have been a 5 at the back. Make sure we don't concede. Try and nick a goal. That's obvious. I think everybody could see that that's what should have happened. That's how we should have set up and just tried to completely nullify any of their attacks. I think it should have been 𝗏𝗏𝗃 at right wing back, Burrows at left wing back, and then either me, McGuinness and Tanganga, or Godfrey, Tanganga and McGuinness. That's what it should have been. Ben Godfrey cannot play right back. He just can't, unless he's playing against a team that doesn't play with quick, skillful wingers, which most teams will. Like, they're not going to be as good as Philogene and some of the other players that I've mentioned. They're not going to be. Like, Ipswich are going to be in the top 4 come the end of the season. But looking at the gulf in class, I think the only way that we get anywhere near Ipswich this season based on tonight's game is if we completely go Sean Dyche sort of don't concede goals, try and nick a goal, like what we did with Wilder last season. This team cannot play expansive football. This team can barely hold on to the ball. Now, we didn't start the game too badly. And like I said earlier, I don't think Ipswich were fantastic in the first half, but they kind of grew into the game. We should have brought Harmer and Campbell on at half time because we're already 1-0 down. we needed to change it at that point, and he waited until we were 3-0 down, I believe, before bringing them on. I just don't get it. I really, really just don't get it. Yeah, it was 3-0 down. When they scored their third goal, that's when he brought Harmer, Sumere, and Campbell on. It's not good enough. And clearly, he's gone tonight, hasn't it? I've not looked at my phone. Let's have a little look, actually. Let's have a little peer at Twitter and let's see if he's gone. Because, I would be surprised if Sheffield United didn't have a graphic ready saying that he's been sacked. He's not gone yet. He's not gone yet, but I expect he's going to get sacked tonight. If he doesn't, he's got to get sacked tomorrow because this is it. It's over. It's over for Sayers. I think the only way he would have carried on after tonight is if we would have lost by less than or 2 goals or less, playing well and playing your best team. If you're going to leave 2 of your best players on the bench, you need to make sure that your team are going to do something in this game. They're going to perform well. They're going to get a point. Something's got to happen for you not to lose your job after leaving 2 of your best players on the bench. I'm really, really worried about this season now. And I know that a different manager is going to come in. It could be someone like a Dyche. They could go for someone similar to Sayers, someone with a bit more experience. But right now, as much as I want to be as nice as possible to the owners and say, come on, you bring in someone that's got that experience, I just don't really trust that they're going to bring someone in that's going to turn things around. And I'm really, really worried for this season. There's people talking about sort of like what happened to Luton. And I'm thinking, you know what? Another manager will come in. Either Sayers will turn it around, which obviously it doesn't look like he's going to, and he's going to get the sack, or another manager will come in and it'll all change. And it quite often does. Like when we had David Weir, one of the worst seasons or start to a season ever, Nigel Clough came in and completely changed it, and we nearly got the playoffs that season. I think Weir was in charge for a good maybe 10 games. This is 5 league games. He's got to be gone tonight. I want to see Sean Dyche in that dugout. I really do, because I think this is the only way that things are going to turn around. We can't bring in somebody that's going to play expansive football because we don't have the players for it. We're not going to bring someone in who's going to be playing high intensity football because again, I don't think we've got the players for it. We've got the defenders for it now. I'm more than confident that once somebody else comes in and sorts out that back line, I think we'll be fine. I don't think we'll concede anywhere near 5 goals. I don't think I think we'll concede 2 goals maximum for the rest of the season once this defense has got sorted. I think it'll be a really, really good defense. But what I'm worried about is what's in front of it. So Peck lost the ball loads tonight. Matos, I think, was okay, actually. I think Matos is a great kind of foil for somebody else. Peck needs to step it up. And he was given the captain's armband tonight. I'm not sure why. I'm not saying that Peck doesn't deserve it, but he's a really, really young lad that we're heaping a load more pressure on. He's not had a great start to the season. He was great last season, not had a great start. And now you're giving him the captain's armband. Like, it's hard enough as it is. We'd lost 5 games, including the cup game this season already. And then you're going to give a lad that's not had a particularly good start to the season a captain's armband to heap more pressure on him. It should have been someone like Michael Cooper potentially, or even one of the new lads, Tanganga, McGuinness, someone like that. If Gus is going to be on the bench, then that's what should have happened. You shouldn't be giving the captain's armband to a young lad who's only in his second full season as a pro. Ridiculous decision, ridiculous. And I know that Wilder gave the captain's armband to Arblaster last season. Maybe it's a good thing for Peck, but he doesn't feel like a good thing for Peck. It really doesn't. So that's pretty much me done. I'm not really going to talk about some of the goals because they were that bad. They were that bad. And, you know, I've already hammered Ben Godfrey a little bit too much tonight, but probably 3 or 4 of the goals were, you know, we could have stopped. And, well, all of them. I actually think all of the goals could have been prevented. But, you know, we had a shocker. We had a full-on shocker tonight. But I don't even remember Tanganga or McGuinness playing particularly bad. It just all came from that left-hand side and through sort of Ben Godfrey just not being mobile enough for me. So, yeah, I'm probably going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. He's got to go. He's got to go. Ruben Sayers has got to be. He's got to be given his march order tonight. He's got to be. There's no two ways about it. It's over for him. And I really, really don't want to see foreign managers constantly getting sacked because one has got to work at some point. I think we just need to bring someone in now that's going to hit the ground running, that's got tons and tons of experience of picking teams up from their knees and moving them in the right direction, putting more balls in the back of the opposition's net than go in ours. Because right now, you know, we've conceded 5 and we've not scored any, and Ipswich haven't kept a clean sheet all season. So I think that speaks volumes. We didn't look like scoring in the slightest tonight. We were so blunt in attack. So I'm going to leave it there. Lots of ranting, lots of going all over the place. Apologies about that. But yeah, there's just so many things to moan about right now and so many things to be negative about. I don't want to be. I want to be positive. But unfortunately, you can't be positive about losing 5-0 to Ipswich Town. It's just not good enough and it needs to stop right now. So, you know, Blades owners, you need to do it. You need to get rid of him, and this needs to be it. You need to pick a successor that's got the experience and that we can get behind, and the team's going to get behind and play for him. So make sure you make the right decision. Thanks for watching, ladies and gents. And hopefully, the next time I speak to you, he's going to be a little bit more positive.
𝗚𝗿𝗲𝗷𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵